It's training camp season. Today we're looking at the Cleveland Browns and getting another look at Shedeur Sanders as we are on Shedeur Sanders' watch. Watch him throw the ball around, work through some drills and everything else. Before we begin, you need to click that subscribe button right now because we're covering training camp every day. We're looking at practice. We're looking at the practice clips. We're seeing what these players are doing behind the scenes. We're looking at your rookies, and those guys are getting ready to draft in fantasy football here soon. Click that button. No who's climbing the depth charts. Who's not going to make it? It's all right here. Today we're looking at Shedeur Sanders. Rather interesting day-to-day of practice. It was a little bit lighter. They went over some situations. But he did get some throws in. He did get some opportunities. A little bit less clips today. I do have some older clips in there so we can keep talking ball. But here he is. One thing I want to talk about is it came out from Yahoo Sports today that Haslam wasn't part of making the pick. It was Barry, and I told you that the room was probably split on him from the front office. Like, it was pretty evident when you looked at that picture that we were talking about during the draft that the ownership, leadership, whatever you want to call it, from the coaching staff on up, they were split on him and on that decision to draft him in the 5th round. Haslam said, if you asked me if we were going to draft him, I wouldn't, or whatever, however he said that. That's per Yahoo, and it's out in different ways on different outlets, so that's what I got. But honestly, he's stacking days. Stacking days and looking good. There's some days he's about 100% completion rates. Ever since those first couple practices where it started off kind of weird. And they were just probably greasing the wheels anyways, getting things ready for when things heat up in practice. Kenny Pickett's out, so he's getting more opportunities. Nothing about how any of these quarterbacks really looked from the beat writers and the tweets. They didn't really mention who won today, who lost today. From just gathering from the tea leaves, looking at the clips, he looked good. He looked solid. Looks like another day stacked unless more reports come out. They did have an injury to Emerson who had to leave the field. That was a huge blow to the Browns' practice today. That is another thing to keep in mind. It was a lighter practice, though. Less clips right now from the Browns media. I imagine some are going to come out on the back end. We'll have that in tomorrow's video and Shedeur. I'll also have clips on Flacco, Gabriel. Don't really have any on Pickett. I do have him on Pickett, but he's dealing with the injury right now. He's out. This is going to give these quarterbacks a lot more opportunity, especially Shedeur, as he was throwing to equipment guys earlier. You see him throw that rope. That being said, in days like today when it's lighter, his opportunities probably would be a little less. They're also getting a lot of work in after practice. Practice is rather short for the Browns. They're about an hour and a half-ish long. Like, they could probably go a little bit longer, get some of these quarterbacks some time. Honestly, on some of these practices, yesterday they wrapped up about this time, a little bit earlier than now, which right now is around 3:40. They started around 2-ish. Gates open to the public around 1-ish. I mean, it seems right for a practice, but I feel like you could probably go a little longer and get your things in. Shedeur's been looking solid, though. He's been looking solid. He's been stacking days. We've been saying this from the beginning of this journey. Rookie camp, OTAs, minicamp, up until now. All you got to do is stack days. The Cleveland Browns are the Cleveland Browns, and they're going to do Cleveland Brown things. Already catching a little bit of that from the front office, whether it's real or not. Because Yahoo Fantasy Sports will drop some stuff that's not really legit sometimes. That being said, Shedeur Sanders, from what we see from the clips, from what we're hearing from beat writers, ESPN radio out of Cleveland, things are looking good. He's won over the locker room, it feels like, that from what we're hearing. He's winning over the locker room. He's playing well every day. He's getting opportunities with the twos. There was not many notes with whether he was with the ones, twos, or threes today. Really, they were in and out with the quarterbacks, and they were going over situations. Honestly. Deion Sanders got blown up yesterday by Swissinger in the hole. Deuce Staley, if you remember him, the running backs coach, in Sampson agreed that he just needs to be lower in the hole, not to allow that to happen again. If you want anything on that context, Shedeur's been locked in. He's been locked in. The Kenny Pickett injury is going to help him get more notoriety with the coaching staff. My guess is it's split with him. I think there's components in this team that want him to get more opportunities and components that don't even care. I bet you. The Browns are the Browns. And I could definitely see the meme of that quarterback jersey of nameplates just keep getting bigger due to their decision-making processes. Definitely could see that. And like I've been saying here, like Flacco's probably going to be the guy. He's really earned it over the course of the last few years, his last tenure with the Browns. He's the veteran. They're going to trust on him to run the offense. He's running with the ones. He's stacking days too. He's not playing bad. Gabriel hasn't been playing bad either. Shedeur has looked better than Gabriel at times. Gabriel has been thrusted out there with ones and twos more often. Everything thrown at Shedeur, he's been passing those tests. I look for the Browns coaching staff, like I've been saying, to play conservative, not go with any of the rookies, lean in on Flacco, try to win over the turnover battle, try to win it with that defense, try to sneak some wins. It's a tough schedule. Start off with Flacco, and that's their thought process. I believe they're not going to try to shoot for upside with any of these quarterbacks. We'll get into season, and if Flacco plays well like he does sometimes he goes off kilter, off the rocker. If he plays well, then he'll just be the quarterback. If he's not playing well, they're going to bring in other quarterbacks. And I believe they like Kenny Pickett more than we like Kenny Pickett. I don't like Kenny Pickett. I was making fun of him earlier today, and I was doing a Vikings video talking about J.J. McCarthy. I was making fun of Kenny Pickett because I saw Jordan Addison, and I called Jordan Addison the NFL narcissist because he gaslit the Steelers into drafting Kenny Pickett. That happened today. And I believe Kenny Pickett would not have been a first-round pick if it wasn't for Jordan Addison. Nobody would have been thinking about him. And he wasn't even the best quarterback in that class, and it was a weak quarterback class. Shedeur's got a better profile than him. Kenny Pickett really shouldn't be here. If you had Flacco and the two rooks, it just makes more sense. You got your upside. You got your old veteran. You got the picks there for your future quarterback if you're not filling the rooks. It makes sense, but you got Pickett there just log jamming things, log jamming reps. I don't believe in that. Like, I think there's some people, I think there's a very small pocket of people out there that believe Pickett has a chance to turn it around. I think I'm open to him making me look bad on those thoughts and killing my biases, but he is making me look correct throughout his NFL career. So he's just going to have to turn things around to make it not happen. Even if he gets the opportunity to start, he still has to play well. I don't believe that's ever going to happen. I think they're going to have multiple quarterbacks start this season. Browns are going to be the Browns. Shedeur has to keep stacking days because he's not just auditioning to be a starter for the Browns, but auditioning for chances with other teams and starting for other teams. Because at the end of the day, the Browns are the Browns. The Browns got the same leadership, ownership in the building. Doesn't matter who's the coach. The Browns have always been the Browns my entire life. That's the thing. But it's like anything else in life, you just got to keep stacking days. You got to keep coming in, plugging away, day in and day out, and that's what he's doing. Another tidbit I caught on social media, could be true, could be not, but I saw it on social media. He told his dad not to show up to practice, Deion, pretty much because he's working. He's working. He says, I'm not ready for it yet, pretty much. He said, I'm working with 3s, 4s right now. I'm not getting many opportunities. I'm still working. I'm not where I want to be. I'm not where I need to be. I'm still working. He is working hard. That's his mentality, and he told his dad not to come down. Deion mentioned earlier that he was going to come down, and that was prior to training camp. He showed up to Tampa Bay to see Shiloh. That being said, I believe it. It's just, did it actually happen or not? Probably did, but I don't trust the media. Why do you think I'm here? Why do you think I'm here just trying to show you clips and talk about what I heard and then saying, hey, could not be true. I'm just trying to relay stuff. Some of you guys are trying to make bets on players and stuff. Getting the behind-the-scene footage and some little tidbits is very important. Floria has been balling out. he has been looking good. I do not know what that means football-wise for the Browns, if he can carve out a huge role, but he looks like he could be a decent slot receiver for this team over time. Like, he could be carving out some sort of role here. Like, he has been on the money here. He's playing with 3s and 4s, but he could be something that you need to pay attention to somewhere down the line if you're a Browns fan. Fantasy football? No, not yet. Not yet. I know some of you guys are here for fantasy football content. Not yet. If you're looking at fantasy football content here, I'd watch this run game. Quinshon Judkins isn't at practice. Dylan Sampson's getting opportunities. Jerome Ford's back. Jerry Jeudy's going to be targeted like crazy by Flacco. Jerry Jeudy's at a good price. I think Flacco's going to be aggressive with the ball, pushing it downfield. Flacco's more of a week in, week out streamer, so not a guy you're really seriously drafting unless you're in 2QB, and he's your second QB and you went expensive with the first quarterback. If you're looking at going cheap, you're doing some kind of money ball play and you're doing some kind of strategy. If you're going 2 cheap quarterbacks like a Flacco and a Geno Smith or something like that, so you already know what you're doing. But you're watching the running backs. Sampson's got a lot of upside. He's one of the top running backs in college football last year. He has some speed. He has some pop. More pop than what he showed at the 40 in his pro day. He ran in the 10s back in high school. He's bigger now than compared to high school, but he's got that explosiveness. We saw that at Tennessee. Very good running back prospect. He's going at a good price because drafters don't know what to do with Quinshon Judkins. He hasn't been out there. He hasn't been out there. This is a very conservative coaching staff where they're not going to throw guys out there. They're not. So you may want to put some chips on Dylan Sampson if you're looking for an upside play on the cheap. And underdog drafts, I'm waiting for the ADP to stabilize. He's still going in double-digit rounds. You got Jerome Ford there too. Another back to look at. You could be looking at a full-blown committee. Quinshon Judkins hasn't been out there, though. They have not been out there. That's something to pay attention to. But if you want Gabriel news, he's been looking good. He's made some throws today. Waiting for more news to come out from this practice. It's been rather quiet, but they had a guy, Emerson, that got hurt, and that kind of ruffled the feathers of the practice. So that being said, kind of slowed things down. Not much from the beat reporters today on the clips. But all in all, from what I see from the clips, from what I'm hearing, there's not much negative news out there. Everything was situational. Shedeur Sanders, another day stacked. Let me know what you think in the comments below. I want to hear about that. Make sure you hit that subscribe button on the way out. One thing for watching. Catch you on the next video.